Wilson Morales from Black Room TV. Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, how are you?
Hi.
Good. Being that this was shot and edited and done, ready in time for us to come out. Were you guys friends before? What did you guys do to establish this chemistry so that we, the audience, can see that these guys are really friends, character wise?
Sort of immediately bonded. Jason and I had worked briefly before, didn't really know each other that well. I'd never met, the other two, and like that first day, it was almost instant. And we all knew we were in something together, so we were each other's support group.
When you look at these characters, Jason, do you want to add to that?
Nope. That was just I was breathing in.
Okay.
You go.
When you take on these roles, and I always say there's got to be something within these characters that you can relate with. Jason, how do you relate to your character?
Well, I relate. I think I have been in situations, especially as a drummer in my old band. There's sometimes, and this is not a slight towards drummers, just maybe in my case, there's a slight pecking order with the instruments and the singer, guitar player, the way it kind of breaks down. I'd be there last, cleaning up, blah, blah, blah. And I related to a guy who's trying to make it all work. But we play a show and then everyone would leave and I would still be in an alley packing my drums up an hour later. But I was so happy to be there and to make music. And in a way, there's some element of that reminds me of this character. It's like he's working 4 times as hard to make it look like everything's totally at baseline.
And Steve, how do you connect with Randall?
A guy going through a crisis, facing his own mortality, trying to understand what may lie beyond, and taking advantage of his place in the world in terms of wealth and power, and basically trying to mitigate that, trying to find a way out, find a path towards immortality. And there's a sadness to that and a desperation to that I think really plays into the decisions he makes and the person he becomes during this weekend.
How tech savvy are each of you? Obviously we see this world and, sometimes you can get lost in the jargon that Jesse created. Like, what is he talking about? I'm losing it, unless you're in a certain field, like in finance or so forth, you get an idea as to where these guys are coming from. How tech savvy are you to know that when you're in this world, you understand what they're talking about?
We had to learn enough to make it seem like we knew what we were talking about.
As they say, fake it till you make it, huh?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, just a lot of research. A lot of it's a different language, not a language that most people speak. Like you were saying before, there will be a tech community that understands everything, and it is all very familiar. But to most people, it sounds like a foreign language, and the hope is that beyond the language of it, that people will understand the characters and sort of decipher what they're saying just based on, who they are and how they're interacting with one another.
Not only was I fascinated by these characters, but I was fascinated by the 5th character, the house itself.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have a house like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a house like this? Yeah. First of all, of course. And second of all, yeah.
Yours only has the one bowling alley,
mine's.
right?
Think of the one in the movie, but just like smaller, less rooms, no bowling alley, no basketball court. Mine's like the one in the house, but with just 3 bedrooms, and 2 bathrooms, and.
But you do have a climbing wall.
But I do have a climbing wall, and I do always say yes.
Who doesn't?
But no, I don't have a house like that. I mean, wow, it's a huge house. And but it is the 5th character, as you say, and I appreciate you saying that because the character he's put a lot into this house, and it's really for these guys. And I love there's scenes in the movie when you go outside of the house, the camera comes outside, we're with us very closely, and then all of a sudden it cuts out to just these shots of the house, and so it's like you're saying it has its own moment, and it's like there's the house, and it's I love the house.
everybody will get a kick of seeing not only you guys back on screen, big or small, but the story itself. So congrats on the roles, congrats on the films. We'll talk down the road. Take care.
Thank you. See you
Thank you.
later.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Black Film and TV. You're coming into this. How long did it take you to read? How many times did you read the script before you got used to the jargon?
Oh, well, there was a limited time. This has all gone really quickly.
Yes.
So there was some panic reading. This process, because the script was so long and so dense, I had someone stay with me for a week and not do their regular job to be able to read through the script over and over, for me to learn the words and have a sort of like proficiency, dexterity, and speed with the language, so that was not one of my worries going into shooting, because there just was not an option to not have that language seem secondhand.
And yourself?
I'm still learning the lines. There's a couple things that I was looking over this weekend just to kind of try to get right.
He had an
a few of
earpiece in the
monologues,
whole...
Yeah, there's a few. I figured out a couple of the rhythms just a couple days ago. Yeah.
I used to work in the finance world, and I was like, okay, let's rewind that to get an idea exactly what he's saying, so I can understand what he's talking about. So you're coming into this, and obviously we're talking about billionaires. We all know they seem to be eccentric at one point or another. How do you relate to the characters you're playing?
I mean, I just tapped into this part of myself that was much younger. I think I felt that these guys are a bit stunted. They've kind of updated every software except for their own, emotionally. And so the first read for me for Jeff was, I was like, oh, this is what I was like when I was 15. There was kind of this arrogance. There was kind of this this not understanding how far a joke should or shouldn't go, not understanding what it looks like to rein yourself in. And I tried to play in this more, rudimentary part of myself. And that was really, the main inspiration, was just what embarrasses me about me, and let me show more of that.
Is Venus too hubris in his success?
Is he what?
Is he too confident? They're always centric to some point, but Venus looks like, okay, like he's just game with everything, no matter what, and he just wants to, there's never enough for each one of these guys.
Very true. There is never enough. Venice is the richest man in the world, and that insulates him from a lot of responsibility, a lot of guilt, and also, there's like a burden of responsibility with what he's created. It's incredibly powerful. I think he thinks of himself as a genius, but also he's responsible for all of that. I think one of the things that's really interesting to play and perhaps watch with these guys is that, it's a bunch of men parading this hubris and this power and apathy of the world and its condition, and prioritizing AI accelerationism and this incredible technology that they are at the forefront of. But they're little boys. They're scared little animals who are just as vulnerable. I have a board of people that for right now are under my thumb, but I could lose my position of power because of this guy. And that is unacceptable. So, it's like these little boys playing with their games. We have people creating AI today who publicly say they don't know the capacity and capability of what they're creating, right? That is incredibly irresponsible. But they'll parade around with their nice shoes and their basic ass t-shirts and their nice cars with the same sort of hubris. But these are irresponsible little boys who think a little too highly of themselves. And everyone's going to get caught one day. What's interesting and what's scary is, to what length are these people willing to go to avoid responsibility for their actions? And that's what we're watching with this, but a little more funny.
But you think in real life, do you think about this stuff, having done this movie, to like, okay, how things are being played out? Whether you're on your phone and things we can do now on a computer, that makes things a little less easier on whatever you're looking for. Whether it's AI, it's there, Sooner or later, you say you don't want to use it, somehow you're going to use it to some extent, from the typewriter to a computer, and so forth. do you think about these things after the fact, once you finish shooting?
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of analogous to what's happening, at the same time. And, I am in full acceptance that we've never stopped tech. No one's ever reversed tech. So it's just going to be about, the way that we dance with it and, what our boundaries are with it. And I think that's that's been an important conversation before even this AI piece. So, yeah.
What did you guys do, the four of you, being we had a short schedule to film this, to get along if you didn't know each other before, so that we, the audience, can believe that here are four billionaires who really know each other, which is rare.
Yeah, I think part of this truly is the craft of casting. Francine Maisler put the cast together, and with Jesse and Frank Rich and some other minds, and it was a puzzle. It was really important that we have four uniquely different people who are bringing different qualities and energies, and then us trying to figure out where we're trying to target our character to have the greatest impact on the others. The thing that was really nice from the get-go is it was an incredibly talented, capable cast of really kind, generous people. So it was immediately a supportive environment where everybody is invested in making this incredible script as great as possible, with ubiquitous respect for Jesse from the get-go as our director. And it was a lot of work, but it was so really easy. Fun. The rapport was immediate and really easy, and one of the most supportive volleying experiences I've ever had on the field of play.
One last question before this, who's the audience for this? We got a lot of movies coming out. It's summertime. We got movies, movies and stuff coming up, streamers and so forth. What's going to get an audience to watch this?
I think there's a bunch of audiences. I mean, everyone always thinks what they're making is for everybody, but I really think this is because we've all got a phone in our hands, and this really does kind of bring the question to the forefront of, well, what does what I'm looking at mean, and how do I play into that? And I would say anyone who is interested in that question will love this, and fans of The Office.
Hey, appreciate it. Congrats. We'll talk down the road.
Thanks. Cheers, man. Thank you.